بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Inshallah, we continue our study of Mafhum al-Shart. We have been discussing Mafhum in general, but the very first type of Mafhum that we started to talk about is Mafhum al-Shart, implicit meaning for a conditional sentence. We already talked about the conditions and we had some applications. Now we have two important discussions. And at the end there will be some examples. These two discussions are very important. And they give you a taste of, fiqh. Most of the discussion we have had so far is more learning terms, concepts. This gives you a kind of taste of fiqh and a little bit of ijtihad, very little. But you can see how much these discussions can affect the fatwa that a jurist may issue. So the first point, at-tanbihul awwal. Tanbih means to awaken, to warn, but to warn is better for inzar. Tanbih is bringing to attention, to awaken, like to notify, like notification. Tanbih. Nabih. Who is Nabih? Not Naba'a, Nabih. No, Nabih is alert. Alert is different from clever. Yeah? Of course, you can use for clever, but Nabih is the one who is alert, who is conscious. Yeah? To be clever or not, it's not in your hand. But you can be alert. It's in your hand. And we have to be, unfortunately, sometimes even intelligent people and clever people are not alert. Yeah. Actually, sometimes those who are very intelligent, they become sometimes heedless because they think they understand everything, they don't pay attention. So, tanbih means to notify, to give a kind of alert to someone. The first one is إذا تعدد الشرط واتحد الجزاء. If there are more than one conditions, but one conditional, jaza is what depends on the condition. We call it conditional. So, if P, Q, P is shart, Q is jaza. So, the first is about when we have P1 and P2. If P1 Q, if P2 Q. Is it clear?
Same answer.
تعدد الشرط. There are two shart, one jaza. Is it clear? If P1 Q, if P2 Q. Now the question is, what should we think of mafhum? Because there is a conflict between one's mantuq and other one's mafhum. Inshallah we'll explain. إذا تعدد الشرط واتحد الجزاء. If conditions are many and the conditional is 1. Ayatollah Subhani says, إِذَا كَانَ الشَّرْطُ مُتَعَدِّدًا وَالْجَزَاءُ وَاحِدًا. If conditions are more than one, متعدد, it means multiple, but jaza is 1. For example, لو قال, if the legislator Shari' Muqaddas says, إذا خفي الأذان فقصر. When adhan is hidden, you make your salat qasr. You know, a musafir who knows that he is going to travel religious distance, you know, al-masafatu shar'iyya, 45 kilometers going or 22.5 going and 22.5 coming. Then you know that, of course, in normal cities, from the end of the city we start counting. But you don't need to wait till you reach 22.5 kilometers. Okay? Or if it is one way going, 45 kilometers. If you know that you are going to travel 45 kilometers, as soon as you reach Hadd Tarakhus, your salat is qasr. What is Hadd Tarakhus? إِذَا خَفِيَ الْأَذَانِ فَقَصِّرْ. When you reach a point that you would not be able to hear the voice of adhan from the last houses of the town. Of course, this is something that may be a reality, or maybe you just calculate. It's not that necessarily the last house of the town is saying azan. Or for example, maybe you are in a town that don't say azan. It's just calculation. If in the last house of the city they say adhan, to what distance it can reach? That distance is counted as the boundaries of the town. So you are not still musafir. But when you don't hear the voice of adhan, for example, maybe 3 kilometers, something like this, then you can start, not only you can, you should. When we say you can, means you should. And also for fasting, this is very important. Unfortunately, some people don't know. For example, they say tomorrow at 10 o'clock I am traveling. So I am musafir. Then from Sahar, they don't keep fasting, which is wrong. You have to keep fasting till you reach Hadd Tarakhus. You cannot say, because 10 o'clock I'm going to, be traveling or flying, so I don't keep fasting tomorrow morning. No. Till you reach Hadd Tarakhus, your salat is complete and your fasting has to be kept. After that, your salat is qasr and you break your fasting. So, إِذَا خَفِيَ الْأَذَانِ فَقَصِّرْ. When you cannot hear adhan, faqasr. Of course, this is calculation according to normal condition. Maybe sometimes you have problem in hearing. So even if you go few meters away, you cannot hear adhan. That's not the criteria. We calculate according to average. Or maybe there is a person that if he says adhan, even after 10 kilometers people can hear. Or for example, maybe when it is very, very quiet, everything is according to average. According to average. Okay? And also without equipment. Not that, you take a loudspeaker and
that reaches up to 5 kilometers easily.
Yeah, or for example with radio, telephone. You phone your home and you say, I'm hearing azan, so still I'm not musafir. Yes.
Is there any average, Sheikh? Is there any average for this? average calculation?
It's about maybe, I don't want to say anything definite, but it's about maybe like, say 2 kilometers, like something like this, 2-3 kilometers.
So you can start paying qasr from
Yeah,
there.
but I am not saying this.
Yeah.
I don't accept any responsibility.
Okay.
You find out how much is it. Yes.
The distance isn't it has got different, the vertices differ from different mergers.
No.
Some of the mergers says they start from the house of your door.
That's another issue. For normal cities, there is no difference. It's from the end of the city. For Bilad Kabira, there is a difference. Some Marajas say Bilad Kabira, the cities which are very, very large. The example that you find is Istanbul. Even in Urvatul Wusqa, in the footnotes of, because Istanbul is a city which is very much expanded, like what do you call, like in the wets, for example. Because if something is from every angle, like circle, then it doesn't become too big. But if it is, for example, just on the edge of a river or sea or something, then it becomes very, very, big. So from one side to the other side can be, 40 kilometers. Anyway, the example was Istanbul. Imam Khomeini, after revolution, gave the fatwa that Tehran is Bilad Kabira. And therefore, if it is Bilad Kabira, then instead of counting from the end of the city, you count it from your district. But then there was idea that those who were born in Tehran, before Tehran became Bilad Kabira, like in 60s, 50s, then for them that area that used to be Tehran is their town. But for people who were born or settled in Tehran after Tehran became Bilad Kabira, then it's like the district. But some Marajas say no, it doesn't make difference, whether it's Bilad Kabira or not, or they don't accept these be Bilad Kabira. So then there is a difference here. But in ordinary cities there is no difference. That is from the end of the town. Okay, the question is this. One sentence says, إِذَا خَفِيَ الْأَذَانِ فَقَصِّرْ. If adhan is not heard, is hidden, means is not heard, you pray qasr. We have another hadith which says, or another saying which says, إِذَا خَفِيَ الْجُدْرَانِ فَقَصِّرْ. Judran is plural for jedar. Jedar means wall. When the walls of the city are hidden, you should pray qasr. So there is another condition. P1, if P1Q, P1 was you don't hear azan. P2 is you don't see the walls. Not the walls of the city, because city may not have wall. Any wall at the end of the city, can be wall of the city, can be wall of the houses. Okay? When you don't see the last houses, then it's possible to be counted as had the tarakhus, and then you are musafir. Okay, now the question is this. Maybe you say, okay, it's very simple and straightforward. No, the question is this. When we have mafhum for shart, there would be a conflict. Because إِذَا خَفِيَ الْأَذَانِ فَقَصِّرْ, as mantuq says that when azan is not reachable, is not heard, you pray qasr. But as mafhum, it means when adhan can be heard, you don't do qasr. If you believe in mafhum, it means that when shart is not there, jaza is not there. So it means that when azan is not makhfi, means azan is possible to be heard, you don't do qasr. Or qasr, the amr for qasr is not there. And this mafhum for the first sentence conflicts the mantuq of the second, because the second says no matter whether you hear or you don't hear adhan, when the walls are not seen, you have to do qasr. That one was saying that when adhan is heard, you don't do qasr. This is when you don't see the walls. So for someone who doesn't see the walls, okay, but can hear the adhan, there's a conflict. Mafhum of the first sentence says you shouldn't do qasr. Mantuq of the other one says you do qasr. So there is a conflict between mafhum of one of them, or you can take it from the other way around. Doesn't make difference. Yes.
Sheikh, but you can actually imagine the second point for the walls. It's if the ground is completely flat,
Yeah.
then you would be able to see the wall till maybe a distance maybe of 5 kilometers roughly, let's say, or whatever. But if the ground is not level and not flat, then in that case the adhan would be your criteria, because you might be just after 1 kilo you cannot see the walls, but you will be able to hear the adhan.
No. Again, like azan, the earth also should be average, not too high, not too low. It has to be again average. If you, for example, consider, for example, a city which is on top of a hill, then you can see it more easily. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it should be average.
Also, it's about the zuhur of what's understood from these terms, right?
Pardon?
It's about the zuhur, not for some, if we take the wall might be higher or this might be this. These are more qarina that come into this understanding.
So everything should be average. Whether it is the azan, whether it is seeing the wall, should be average. For example, if the wall is very high, or if the wall has, for example, ultraviolet light. No, something just normal and average. Yes.
Is this condition occurs the distance, or distance doesn't mean anything?
Yeah, distance is important.
Because now, like by London, it's becoming a kabira because it's expanding. So before the boundary of L25 used to be called that it's a house, and you can do that. But now, when you're traveling outside London, you can still see the buildings, you can still see the walls, you can still see the things. So
It must be counted.
17 kilometers or
Yeah.
21 miles.
No. Do locals count it as London, or they count it outside London?
It used to be London, then they make it Greater London, then it's become.
No. Actually, when they make it Greater London, that means they are including what
Yeah,
was
yeah.
not London inside London.
There
They are not excluding.
are some towns here where is one road included in London, the other one included in Watford. There are cities like that, small towns.
So, do people, locals, consider this as London or not? This is the criteria. If it is still part of London, but if they say it's outskirts of London, then no. Okay. So, على القول بظهور الجملة الشرطية في المفهوم. If we say that conditional sentence has the apparent meaning of مفهوم, is ظاهر في المفهوم, there is مفهوم for جملة شرطية. Okay? تقع المعارضة بين منطوق أحدهما ومفهوم الآخر. There would be a conflict, whether you listen or not, there would be a conflict, okay, between منطوق of one and مفهوم of the other. فلو افترضنا, so if we suppose that the musafir, traveler, بلغ إلى حد لا يسمع أذان البلد, the traveler has reached a point that he does not hear the azan of the city. Azan al-balad. Balad means city town. لا أقسم بهذا البلد. ولكن يرى جدرانه. Cannot hear the azan but still can see the walls. So here we have a problem. فيقصر حسب منطوق الجملة الأولى. According to the mantu, according to what is the spoken meaning of the first sentence, it says qas, because you don't hear the azan. ولكن يرى جدران فيقصر حسب منطوق الجملة الأولى ويتم حسب مفهوم الجملة الثانية. But according to the mafhum of the second, he should do complete. For example, كما أنه إذا بلغ إلى حد يسمع الأذان ولا يدرك جدران. If he reached the point that can hear azan, يسمع الأذان, hear adhan, but cannot see the walls. It will be the same thing but from the other side. Anyway, when one happens and the other one doesn't happen, there will be a conflict. Then Ayatollah Subhani says, but you have to remember something. We said there are 4 conditions for mafhum. The fourth, the last one, which was very important, was there has to be inhisar, exclusive causality. Here, there is no exclusiveness because you say P1 and P2. So, it means that we have more than one cause.
Different conditions.
Yeah. وبما أنك عرفت أن استفادة المفهوم, because you knew, you learned. Yeah, you learned to get, inshallah.
Inshallah.
You know, he has optimism. He says, عرفت. And I have also optimism, so I say, Alhamdulillah. أن استفادة المفهوم. Inshallah, in a few days we will see. When exam time comes, then we will see. بما عرفت, because you have learned أن استفادة المفهوم مبني على كون الشرط علة تامة. أولا, to be able to istifada means to get, to benefit. Yeah? Mafhum depends that the condition must be complete cause, so that when it happens, definitely jaza happens, and has to be inhisari, munhasaratan. Okay, now there are 2 ways to solve this problem. Here is where I want you to be very careful. This is the place that you have to be 100% careful. Okay? You realize that there is an issue here. If you want to act according to the mafhum of the first one, it would conflict with the mantuq of the second. If you want to act according to the mafhum of the second, conflict with the mafhum of the first. Okay? Now, there are 2 ways to solve this problem, because we cannot say Shara contradicts himself. Definitely, here there is one of the 2. Either the condition is not exclusive, so it means either this or that. Whichever happens, your salat is qas. So then there is no problem. If it is not inhisari, then there is no mafhum.
Sorry, can you just repeat that? Sorry.
So either when you hear these 2 sentences, we take it as an indication that there are 2 alternative conditions. If A happens, you say your salat qas. If B happens, you say your salat qas. Either the wall should be not seen, or azan should not be heard. Either. Separately. Then there is no mafhum. Yes, there is mafhum. Can you say what is the mafhum of this sentence then? If it is either P1 or P2 Q, then the mafhum would be when there is neither P1 nor P2. Either P1 or P2, then mafhum is when there is neither P1 nor P2. Okay?
Because P1 and P2 is mantu,
Yeah.
and mafhum is the opposite.
Yeah. So these two sentences will be combined. Indeed, it's like two parts of one sentence. So it was إذا خفي الجدران أو خفي الأذان فقصر. The full sentence was like this. If you cannot hear azan or you cannot see the walls, you qasr. So means one of them is enough. But if none of them is there, you cannot do qasr. This is one solution.
Even if you have traveled more than 20 miles or 30 miles, but these two conditions are not there, so you can't do qasr.
How can you travel to 20 miles and these conditions are not there?
There is a possibility.
How?
People come, so like people come from London to Woking.
20 miles.
It's less than 20 miles.
Okay. So as soon as you travel from one town 20 miles, 15 miles, you cannot see
No, no.
the walls and you cannot hear. Yeah. So this is one solution. Okay? Shall I write for you on the board or it's clear? I can write it if you. Is it clear or not?
I think it's better when I
It's better. Okay.
so everybody knows.
So please check. I will be seen.
Yeah, the full board is coming.
Okay. Bismillah. إذا خفي أذان فقصر. Okay? إذا خفي الجدران فقصر. Okay. Now, whatever we said, we applied here. This is shart, yeah, a shart. This is al-jaza.
Jaza.
Okay. As you see, we have the same jaza, but we have two shart. تعدد الشرط واتحد الجزاء. Okay? تعدد الشرط واتحد الجزاء. Jaza is the same, but there are two conditions. Okay. Now, the problem here is if we accept that this has mafhum, then it means that when azan is not hidden, salat is not qasr. When you say azan is not hidden, it can include when walls are hidden. There would be conflict. Or if this has mafhum, when walls are not hidden, you don't need to do qasr. But when walls are not hidden can include when azan is not heard. Sometimes you don't see the walls and you hear azan. Sometimes you hear azan and you don't see the walls, or it can be different possibilities. Okay. Two solutions are here. One is to say that although these are said as two separate sentences, but the reality was this. إذا خفي الأذان والجدران فقصر. So shart is both. This is shart.
Isn't it أو?
Or maybe I just put
أذان أو
green. Pardon?
It's أذان أو جدران. We put what,
Yeah, no, I will give you two options.
okay.
The other solution is this. إذا خفي الأذان أو الجدران فقصر. So there are two ways to interpret these two sentences. If you want to solve the problem, there are two ways. One is to say these two sentences are meant to suggest that the condition is combination of both. So these two must happen, both of them, so that salat is qasr. This is one way of solving the problem. The other way of solving the problem is to say any of them is enough as alternative. So either wav or o, and or. If you say, according to this one, إذا خفي الأذان والجدران فقصر, it means that both of them should happen. So if only one of them happens, still you are not musafir. And still you have to say your salat complete. If one happens. Only when both happens. So what would be then the mafhum? That when both of them are not happening, you say complete. If we say oh, means any of them is enough.
Whatever happened first.
Yes. Then the mafhum is that none of them should have happened. Mafhum of this is if one of them happens, still is.
Not possible.
Pardon?
If one has happened, it's not enough for possible.
You are still not musafir. Salat is common. If one happens, according to this one.
Yeah.
Both should happen so that you become musafir. If one happens, you are not musafir. But according to this, even one is making you musafir. So, when faqih comes across such sentences, okay?
Sheikh,
Yes.
in the first one, it's اتحاد الشرطان happened. But in the second one, it's no شرطان, شرط واحد. There is no اتحاد شرطان. Any
No.
of them?
No. The question is, thank you for asking. The question is this. تعدد إذا تعدد الشرط واتحد الجزاء واتحد الجزاء. So this is the problem. The problem is this. But there are two solutions. One is to say that these two merge and make one condition. So it looks like ta'addud al-shart, but in reality you have a combined single condition. Single combined condition. The other one is no, to keep them as separate. But both of them are for the same issue. تعدد الشرط واتحد الجزاء. How we treat it. Okay? It's very interesting, yeah? Very interesting to travel. Yes.
Where does inqisar come in?
Okay. So, if we believe in inhisar, there can be no mafhum because there is no inhisar. But if we say they merge and make one condition, then inhisar can be there. وَبِمَا أَنَّكَ عَرَفْتَ I go back to the last line of page 99. Page 99. Okay? We are going into next century. Page 100. From first century to the second century. وَبِمَا أَنَّكَ عَرَفْتَ أَنَّ اسْتِفَادَةَ الْمَفْهُومِ مَبْنِيٌّ, or maybe it was better to say مَبْنِيَّةٌ. Yeah, استفادة المفهوم مبنية, to be able to draw out of conditional sentence مفهوم, to benefit مفهوم, depends on shart, on the condition to being complete cause, firstly. ومنحصرة, and to be exclusive, secondly. Okay, because these two conditions were there, we had four conditions, these are two of them. يرتفع التعارض, the conflict would be removed, would be solved بالتصرف, by making a change, a kind of intervention in one of the two things. So either we should say there was no independent conditions, they were mixed, or we say there is an alternative. فَتَفْقُدُ الْجُمْلَةُ الشَّرْطِيَّةُ مَفْهُومَهَا, if الِّيَّة is not there, or الِّيَّةُ التَّامَّةُ is not there, or انحصار is not there, then there is no مفهوم. لا يبغى للمعارضة إلا طرف واحد. Then there would be no mafhum, and when there is no mafhum, ta'aruz is there, removed. Ta'aruz is removed. Because ta'aruz needs two sides. One thing cannot do ta'aruz. Yeah? Ta'aruz at least has two parts. So, if mafhum is cancelled, then mantuq of the other has no mu'ariz, has no conflicting force. There's nothing in front of it, nothing to oppose it. Okay? Is it clear? Now, let us explain to you what are those two tasarruf, what are those two interventions that you can do in order to solve the conflict. Either we say there is no al-illiyyatu tamma, there is no complete causality, or we say there is no exclusive causality.
Out of these sentences, which one is illatul tamma?
So we will explain now. If you want to say al-illatu tamma, then it means that one of them is not enough, is naqis. So the one that I merged them, the vav. Vav is opposite to illat tam. Aw means each of them is tam, but not munhasir. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. أما الأول أي التصرف في السببية التامة. And that is, you know the meaning of tasarruf? Change, sometimes it's manipulation, but here we don't say manipulation. But tasarruf means to change, to intervene. Tasarruf, yeah? And sometimes tasarruf means, yeah, for example, someone intervenes in the natural order. You know? For example, sometimes a wali of Allah can do tasarruf. For example, a person is going to have an accident, then he can be saved by a kind of tasarruf. Means you change the course of affairs which was leading to being killed. Yeah? This is tasarruf. Anyway, it has lots of meaning. Here means, like, a kind of intervention or kind of change. First, التصرف في السببية التامة بأن تكون الجملة الثانية قرينة على أن خفاء الأذان ليست سببا تاما للقصر. We change the assumption that there was complete causality. تصرف السببیت تام means we want to change that. Yeah, we focus on this assumption and we want to change this assumption. We say, who said that there was complete cause? Yes, if there are two complete causes, then that's a conflict. But we say there is no two complete causes. Each of them was incomplete. Together they become complete. Therefore, each of them separately has no mafhum. When they come together, then they would be complete. بأن تكون الجملة الثانية قرينة على أن خفاء الأذان ليست سببا تاما للقصر. The second sentence was an evidence that the fact that azan is hidden is not a complete cause for qasr. وإنما سبب التام هو خفاء كلا الأمرين. The complete cause was that both things should be hidden, both azan and walls. فتكون النتيجة بعد التصرف. So the result after this change is, after this kind of treatment, is that if walls and adhan ma'an together are hidden, you say qasr. So this is one way. The other way of tasarruf is to say the problem was not with complete or not complete. The problem was with exclusive or not exclusive. أما الثاني هو التصرف في انحصارية الشرط. To do tasarruf in exclusiveness of the condition. In the sense that each of them is independent. So each of them is independent, is complete, but not exclusive. They are complete, but not exclusive. Means each of them can work by itself, but you cannot say there is nothing else that can take its role.
They're not inclusive.
They are not exclusive.
They're not exclusive.
Yes, they are not exclusive. فتكون النتيجة هي استقلال كل واحد في وجوب القصر. So the result is that each of them is independent in making qasr necessary. So it is as if فكأنه, it's as if it is said إذا خفي الأذان أو الجدران فقصر. If adhan is heard, then a problem. If judran are seen, again problem. None of them should be there, because it says if either this or either this is enough to make it qasr. إذا خفي الأذان, if azan is hidden or walls فقصر. والفرق بين التصرفين واضح. The difference between the two is clear. One of them is about denying complete causality, independent causality. The other one is not about complete or incomplete, about independent or dependent. The other one is about exclusive causality. One is about istiqlal and tammiyah, the other one is about inhisar. Okay? فعلى الأول لا يقصر إلا إذا خفي كلاهما. According to the first assumption, he would not make salat qasr unless both of them are hidden, wall and azan. And according to the second, he would not do qasr مع خفاء كل منهما. He would not do qasr, he would do qasr if both of them, means if one of them is happening, he should not do qasr. So ta'aruz is sorted out. Now there is a question: which one should be preferred? You say there are two solutions. It cannot be in our hand to choose. Because as you see, it makes big difference. Which one we should choose? That comes in the next episode, inshallah. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. Yes.
مولانا the last one لو على الثاني يقصر مع خفاء